Kitzu art.
Hello Fluffy viewers, Kitzu here with another VRoid model, and yes, it will be free to use as it's another fan-made character. And it's none other than Panzy from Dragonball Daima. Also, this video was made a year after creating this model. So I'll do my best to remember how I proceeded on making this VRoid model. I did work on it a few months after the anime reached its last episode, and I bet plenty of people really liked it as it was Akira Toriyama's final project. Although it's just another timeline in the Xenoverse. As you saw, I started with the body color and the hair. The hair was pretty easy, as the only hair needed was just the front and pigtails. The back of the head just needs some details, and I then chose to go for the rest of the face as I believed that everything else would be done fast, like the brows, eyelids, and eyes, etc. It was pretty easy, although I did have to do an outline on her eyes to give her that Dragon Ball look, which was a bit tricky at first, but ended up coloring the skin and the eyelashes to get that result. Since I'll mostly be looking at the character from the front, I then proceeded to create her clothes. Just looking at the model from the front angle would already show me if this character truly looked like Panzy. It is an odd name, but in Japanese, she's called Panzy, which is said to derive from the pansy flower. If I said that correctly, sorry if I said it wrong. Clothes are always nice to start out with. Not sure if I said this before, but I would always start with sketching the clothes on a VRoid model, and finish with the hair, since it just feels like an easy process to start with, and will let you know if your character looks good or not, helping you see what else you can add or change. You could also just do the front of the hair too, and mostly look at your model from the front as you create the clothes. But for this model, the hair was pretty simple, so I started with that. I could stay with the sketch clothes and do my best with VRoid, but I enjoy exporting the clothes to Clip Studio Paint to make lines more clean and straight. It's just easier for me to do as I can also just copy-paste my work on one side to the other. Basically mirroring my work before saving and pasting it to the VRoid model. All the clothes on this model are bodysuits. It really brings a lot of different possibilities for clothes on your characters. If you were to ask me what the hardest part of this model was, I would say the shoes. VRoid has a limit on shoe editing, but when it comes to VTubing, what matters the most is the top of your character. So it makes sense to be limited on the bottom clothing, since that is something not many VTubers show. I really had to work with what was available, and the color detail just kept doing odd things that I had to carefully color some lines on the shoes in VRoid, as it can be tiring moving back and forth from VRoid to Clip Studio Paint. Blender could have also been another option, but would have been more time consuming to create and parent the shoes to the feet belts. At this point, I seem to have also gotten used to creating scarves, although I possibly made only 2 scarves. I just look at my reference and immediately know what I can do to create a scarf with the hair tool. And with a little detail, lines, and shade, the hair looks like a scarf. But it's a little odd that it follows the head, so I use Blender to change the bone parent of the scarf to follow the torso bone later on. This might be the first time I had to add plenty of details to a model to have a certain art style. If you watch Dragon Ball, you would know there's many details on certain characters, like their hair, muscles, and even bodies like Piccolo and Cell. Adding these details can really bring the illusion that I might just have discovered a Dragon Ball style shader. I'm even surprised that the model actually looks good, like it belongs in the Dragon Ball Z game. I honestly feel like adding more, but I must remember that less is more. Well, that is Panzy, made in VRoid. I did finish with Blender, struggling to get the scarf to follow her torso instead of her head. This also took about 14 hours to do. If you want to see more, I do sometimes stream the process, and you can also download this in my Ko-fi page. Thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care of yourselves, guys. See ya.